against Ohio State for the 91st time. The standings tell the story. Penn State is headed to Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State and Michigan at 5-2. They will play for a berth in the Citrus Bowl. Coming up next, it's Ohio State and Michigan. Does the home team have an edge? Not in this rivalry. Not gray, not overcast, no rain. A beautiful day and a fast track for these two teams. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. You're perhaps wondering, where's my colleague, Dick Vermeil? Well, it's become a tradition here. Whenever we do an Ohio State game, we go down the road to Waverly, Ohio. There's a little inn. We go up the creaky steps. We find out from the psychic who's going to win this game. Let's go inside now and find Dick.
Sheree, I've been here 3 years in a row to ask you to predict the outcome of an Ohio State Buckeye football game. The Citrus Bowl's at stake. The University of Michigan's in town. What are your feelings?
Michigan.
Michigan. Do you have a feeling score-wise?
29-21.
29-21.
Then a helmet. Ohio State. A helmet hits the ground. And Michigan gets the ball.
Michigan gets the ball. Turnover. Now, I work with Brent Musburger and a character named Jack Arute. Give me a feeling on Jack Arute.
He's not the person he appears. He's very warm on the inside and shows no, still not caring on the outside. He doesn't say what he means.
Come on, Jack. You got to tell us what... That'll teach you not to show up early. Where you been, Jack Arute?
I've been hot on some stories. Remember, Brett, I don't appear to be what I mean. Or whatever Sheree said. But listen to this strange thing that occurred. She talked about helmets, right? Well, last night, the University of Michigan locker room was broken into, and 6 helmets were stolen. Some from very important people like Todd Collins, Amani Toomer, and also Tyrone Wheatley. Everybody got helmets to replace them except for Toomer. Toomer won't have a normal receiver's helmet today. They only bring so many replacement helmets. Some other weird things have been happening since we've been to Columbus as well. All through the week, when we walked on the streets, when we watched the TV, listened on the radio, everybody was saying that the outcome of this game could determine the future for Ohio State's head coach, John Cooper. Now, he has one more year left on his contract, but many people say that whether he wins this game or not could determine whether he's back in Columbus or not. Now, according to the athletic director, Andy Geiger, and Gordon Gee, the president of Ohio State, they will not make any sort of determination on Cooper's future until after the season. But let me tell you, the feeling down here and all throughout Columbus is how they do in this game will determine whether we'll see John Cooper back in Ohio State in the Horseshoe in 1995. A lot of action underway, and we'll be back with it and the kickoff right after this.
If you want to move ahead in any career, you have to know what most employers want. Like how to work with a team, how to handle responsibility, how to take on a tough job and see it through. You can learn all these things in the Army. So when you do set off on the road to success, you'll already be in the driver's seat.
You know, American Express has this new card out, and they act like as soon as you get one, you'll spend your day.
John Cooper, winless in this series, would love to break through, but let me give you a set of numbers that are unbelievable. The home team, I mentioned that no home team enjoys an advantage in this series. It is 43 victories for the home team, 41 for the road team, and 6 ties. That defines a rivalry, doesn't it? Coach Moeller won the flip. He did not defer. The Wolverines will take the ball. They wish to go on offense, so the Bucks will kick it off. Mike Malfat, the freshman from Dublin, Ohio, puts the ball down on the tee here for the Bucks. It's an interesting mood in Columbus this week. I expected it might be anger, but it was not. They are very optimistic, and why not? The Wolverines have been leaking touchdown passes in that defensive backfield. the 602nd kickoff in Michigan-Ohio State history from the 15-yard line with Seth Smith going nowhere. Todd Collins. It's what he accomplished a week ago against Minnesota, throwing for 352 yards, led by number 6, Tyrone Wheatley. He'll be the tailback. Very talented wide receivers with Toomer and Hayes behind this offensive line. Jenkins, Runyon, Payne, Marinero, and Gwines. Now defensively, the front 7. And a good one for the Bucks. The defensive backfield will have their hands full against Collins, Springs, Paul, Patillo, and Kerner. And we're underway with 1st and 10. Hayes goes in motion. Wheatley with the game's first carry. Wheatley out to the 23-yard line. And Dick Vermeil, what's the Michigan plan here offensively?
Well, Gary Moeller wants to mix up his formations early in the ball game and get an idea how Ohio State plans to defense. I mean, he wants to use a lot of 2 tight ends, both with 2 wide receivers and 3 receiver situations. And he also wants to get the ball outside, Brent, early and get that defense stretched.
Double tight and a deep tailback in Wheatley. Hayes and Toomer are the wide receivers for Michigan. The deep handoff is to Wheatley. He breaks his first tackle and then is surrounded at the 26. Tim Patillo coming up to join the scarlet and gray shirts there defensively. Now, on the other side of the coin, you spent a lot of time watching the Bucks practice. You've been with Bill Young. Defensively, what will they attempt to do here today?
Well, Bill Young says they want to play field position football. They want to start out this first quarter. They want to be a little bit conservative. He says there's still a little shell shock from that Penn State bombardment, so they're going to start out conservatively and try like mad not to give up a big play, Brent.
Well, it's 3rd and 1 in a very tight formation for Michigan with Ed Davis in at running back for the Wolverines. Basically 3 tight ends, power football, cutback. First down, Wolverines, and Lorenzo Styles, number 90, expects to be very active in that middle linebacking spot here today.
Well, he's been very active all year. He's a fine football player. All Big Ten last year and probably will be again this year. Comes in the ball game with 113 tackles. He fills those holes real well. Critical today that the 2 defensive tackles do a good job on these 2 great big offensive guards from Michigan.
They use Che Foster in front of Davis now in the basic I formation with a slot to the right for the Wolverines. And then they send Davis out to give him an extra receiver to the left side. Collins on first down, fires to Toomer. Toomer slips a tackle. Bad defensive work in the defensive backfield as he gets across midfield.
He is so elusive. He's made big plays all year, Amani Toomer, out of Berkeley, California. They went in motion, spread the defense, get the isolation 1-on-1 to the bottom of your screen. Now you'll see Sean Springs, 24, just playing very loose. He's playing a conservative zone approach. Now he doesn't come to balance properly right there, and he misses the tackle. You have to tackle well when you're going to approach this young man, Amani Toomer.
21 yards to Toomer from Collins. They cross midfield. Davis stays in the running back. Wheatley continues to be out. Double tight end, and Collins on a deep handoff on the delay.
Bumbo.
Finken hit him. Matt Finkus, the Bucks are indicating they've got it.
They have to, whether they called it down or not.
They call it down, and it will be 2nd down with Tyrone Wheatley, number 6, returning from the Michigan sideline.
You mentioned Matt Finkus. He's had a very good year, Brent. He's very aggressive as a young man. He'll be back to play next year. The other defensive end, Mike Vrabel, 94, they're really fine outside defensive linemen, and they make a lot of plays collapsing outside in.
2nd and 12 for Collins and the Wolverines. The ball at the Michigan 49-yard line. No score, just underway in Columbus. Wheatley swings to the left, had a big hole. Wheatley explodes to the 30-yard line.
Awfully good job of blocking up there by Jay Reamersma, the tight end, who is a converted quarterback, to the right side of your screen. He blocks down. The guard pulls out there, gets a nice kick-out block. There's the lane, and this man has such bursting speed that he can get through those cracks quickly.
Wheatley hit the Buckeyes in Ann Arbor a year ago for 105 yards and 16 carries in that 28-0 shellacking. He left because of an injury in the 2nd quarter. Wheatley has given Michigan a first down at the Buckeye 30-yard line. Wheatley again behind the left side, only for a yard. And let's check in now with John Saunders in New York.
All right, Brent, thanks a lot. We want to let you know what we have coming your way at 3:30 Eastern time on this weekend of big rivalries. Auburn against Alabama, each team without a loss this year. USC still has a shot at the Rose Bowl. Illinois against Wisconsin, and Oregon, if they win this game, they're going to the Rose Bowl. If they lose or tie and USC wins, USC is in the Rose Bowl. Right now, Brent, let's kick it back to you in the Big Ten.
All right, John, and here, of course, the winner goes to the Comp USA Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. The loser will go to the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. Second down. Here's Wheatley. Steps his way to the 26-yard line. This is going to leave the Wolverines with an apparent passing situation on third down. Randall Brown of Detroit made the stop, and look at this visitor.
That's too many men on the field, isn't it?
That's Jack Arute will stop at nothing to get information from the sidelines.
Bill Young said if they get close to that red zone, he'll pick it up, maybe come after him with a blitz in these situations.
So it is the 3rd and 6 now for Collins and the Wolverines. Slot formation to the right. Ed Davis, the running back. He's out as a receiver. They've got Davis. Davis short of the first down. Good stop by Marlon Kerner.
The linebacker didn't get over in coverage on him. They were playing everybody else man-to-man underneath and backing him up with 2 free safeties. Very good tackling. This is why it's critical to have people that can make the hit. See him bend those knees, get those pads into him. Nice job by Marlon Kerner. Prevents that first down.
So now on 4th and short, Coach Moeller and the Wolverines with the first decision, and it's an easy one. They've got a yard to go, and they'll go for it here. They'll pass up the field goal opportunity with Che Foster. Chances are you can follow Foster. He'll lead to the hole. 2 tight ends now for the Wolverines. They need to cross the 20-yard line. Quick change up. Foster relays to Wheatley, and it's a timeout. Didn't like what he saw, and Collins is going over to the Michigan sideline. ABC brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. Magnavox. Hey, we make technology people want. Magnavox. Smart, very smart. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. MDIBM Corporation. Michigan and Ohio State are underway. First possession for the Wolverines, and they have driven down to the Buckeyes' 21-yard line. They have 4th and 1, having called a timeout. Expect anything here, Dick, huh?
Well, you know, Gary Moeller in the past has really surprised us in these 4th down situations, hitting the big play with a play-action pass.
Foster and Wheatley are behind Collins. Straight drop back, and a throw over, incomplete. Buckeyes take over. He outsmarted himself. When you're moving the ball on the ground, baby, send Wheatley off tackle for the yard.
Or if you're going to throw it, use the strong play action and pull those linebackers in. Boy, that would surprise me. It's one he will second guess himself, I believe. Back out of the backfield there, gets sets up, throws it over there. Just not a good throw. He's slipping and falling off balance. Can't make the play. Big play for Ohio State. A coaching error, I think. Brent, I really think he will second guess himself on that one. When you are physically good enough, give your kids a chance to prove it. Let them go get after someone's butt.
Especially after a timeout. There were no audible, no situations. Sualu and Eddie George now are in the backfield. Reprieve for the Buckeyes. Scoreless, they come out now from the 21-yard line. Bobby Hoyne on first down. Throws complete for the first down to the 34-yard line to Sualu, the fullback from Santa Ana, California.
Well, Joe, Hollis said they wanted to start out by changing up their first down situations. They came into this ball game running 60-80% of the time on first down. He says, we're going to start right out and change it up.
There's Bobby, 17 TDs this year and 13, an improving quarterback. Behind him, keep an eye on Eddie George, and certainly the big play man is Joey Galloway. But don't overlook number 17. 2 great tackles, ladies and gentlemen, and Corey Stringer and Orlando Pace. Coaches all around the league are raving about these 2. Here's George, slashing cutback, still going out to the 40-yard line. Defensively now for the Wolverines, they will line up this way, and this is where this team has experienced great trouble. Not so much here with the front 7, led by Steve Morrison, Jared Irons. Nice to have Matt Dyson healthy if you're a Wolverine fan. But in this secondary, They have altered the combinations. They have 11 defensive backs ready to go here today, and we'll see if they can settle on something.
You know, I'll bet you that Bo Schembechler, who was sitting down to the right here a little ways, just about jumped out of the booth on that call.
Second down and 5. George. And that was Jarrett Irons pounding him, and the ball is down. Michigan's recovered it.
And there's a guy that hasn't fumbled the ball very much at all year. He fumbled 3 times in 234 carries, losing 2, and he starts out by fumbling right now.
Jason Horn came up with it.
You don't want to turn the ball over at any time, but in this field position, it is really critical. He's got the ball tucked in that right arm. Morrison comes in there and just rips it out of there. Good job by senior Steve Morrison. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's outstanding in regard to securing the football. He just made a mistake right now. Well, Cherie said there'd be a fumble or two, didn't she?
Ron Winter is our Big Ten referee here running things. Jimmy Augustine is the umpire in Michigan with a 1st and 10 in Buckeye territory. Wheatley is the lone running back. Slot formation to the right for Michigan with Todd Collins. There was movement on the right side of the offense.
Boy, I think Coach Mueller and staff got a reprieve with that turnover after that 4th down call. I still can't get over that. That confuses me. It really does.
Dead ball. Ball starts. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
You know, coaches have a tendency to overestimate the opponent's talent and underestimate their own talent. I think that's an example of it right there, Brent. When you're as physically as good as Michigan, let those kids come off the ball and get after them.
1st and 15. Slot to the right. Collins. Now it's Wheatley swinging to the left. Nowhere. It'll be 2nd and 15. Styles again defensively there.
It shows you the value of pursuit on a play like that. There's a knockdown block at the point of attack, yet the backside rush, backside pursuers make the play.
Dennis Mogg checks in for the Buckeye bench.
They go to a nickel package now, Brent, in these long yardage situations.
Ed Davis and Shea Foster are in the backfield.
They're not lined up properly yet.
They put Davis in motion. Collins at the 45-yard line by Finkus.
Matt Finkus getting his 10th sack. Number 2 sacker in the Big Ten, just proves his ability right there coming from the left defensive tackle position. Normally he plays outside. This time he's lined up inside, working on different people rather than the offensive tackle. Here he is right inside here, working here. Gets a good rush anyway from the outside people. Man in motion. See, the defense is a little bit confused right now. They're a little bit late in getting lined up. Didn't affect the pass rush. Here they are coming in strong.
That's a 9-yard loss. This is 3rd and 24 for the Wolverines. Penalty flag is down. It's complete to Hayes. That would be a 1st down, but hold on. A holding call could be bringing this one back.
You know, the big offensive right tackle, Thomas Gwines, number 75 for Michigan, is having a hard time with a hard outside rush right now, Brent. They're going to have to give him some help, either with a tight end or a running back chipping over there as he comes out. You see what I'm talking about right here? He's already turned, lets the man get outside right there. He's got the takedown, see, rather than let him get to the quarterback. Powell had him beat hard to the outside.
Now remember that it's from the spot of the holding. So, ladies and gentlemen, this ball is coming back to the 25. This is a 3rd and 44. And now go back to that gamble on 4th and yards up there, even though they got a turnover. That one play has made Wolverines a little unsettled here.
What would you call here, Coach?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Well, I'll probably run a draw.
There it is. And Wheatley to the 32-yard line with Stiles. Wolverines in an obvious punting situation. No score first quarter.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill Young and the defensive staff have to be very, very excited about that series. To get the turnover there that they gave them in plus territory and go in and end up with field position punting from here. Very fine defensive series for the Buckeyes.
Greg Baker. And they came after it. Galloway was back deep. Ball is out of bounds. There's 92,000 jammed into Ohio Stadium. And right now, they're feeling real good about how things are going in the early minutes of this one. Favored by 6.5 over Oregon State. They've got to handle the wishbone. They struggled against an option team at Hawaii early this year. That's the Civil War out in Oregon today. And what a story the Ducks have become. Now it's George and Sualua. Split backs for the Buckeyes. Hoying, the quarterback. Galloway shifts it further out, a yard to the left. They're coming off the corner. They blitz the run that time. And George with less than a yard. We send you to New York. And John Saunders. John?
And Brett, we'll take you to the ACC. North Carolina against Duke. 3rd and goal here. Spence Fisher hooks up with John Jensen, 5 yards on the touchdown. Jensen 5 catches for 54 yards on the drive. Duke's up 7-zip. Brent.
Blue Devils, quite a story. Coach Goldsmith certainly going to be nominated by a lot of folks for Coach of the Year with the job that he has done with Duke this year. 2nd down and 9 for Hoying. Michigan with 4 down linemen here today. George swinging to the right, now turns it upfield to the 46-yard line, and this will leave them with a 3rd and about 6.
Brent, through this year, that formation, 2 wideouts, 2 running backs split like that, has been a passing formation. They come in that formation now, and they've run a draw, and they've run a running play sweep to the outside, just trying to break some of their game tendencies.
We move past the half hour here with 5:22 left first quarter. No score, Ohio State and Michigan. Five defensive backs. Coyne gets time, throws, and incomplete. The pass was intended for Buster Tillman, number 12.
Lloyd Carr, defensive coordinator, did a nice job that time of calling a coverage and then moving the coverage to a totally different scheme prior to the snap. That really is tough on a young quarterback. Bobby Hoying's improved tremendously through this year, but it's still tough to make that mental adjustment when they go from a 2-deep to a 3-deep.
Well, if this is going to be a low-scoring defensive game, then this is the part of the contest to watch. The kicking game.
Scott Turner's had a good year. They actually have an edge, Ohio State does, in the punting game, Brent.
Amani Toomer is back deep. Nice punt. Beautiful. Toomer's going to let it go. It's going to be down inside the 5. He's got to catch the ball.
He's got to catch it. You'd think he'd have a lot of confidence in catching the ball. He returned one for a touchdown here a week ago, 72 yards. Maybe it was the sun. Maybe he couldn't see it. We'll give him an out.
I thought he saw it all the way. Tito Paul recovers it. Columbus, Ohio. No score. Folks, take a look at the Michigan schedule this year. A couple of stories, a couple of points I want to make. Number one, it is the toughest schedule in NCAA football. Look at that first loss, that nightmare loss to Colorado. I don't think this team has ever completely recovered from that. Both coaches in their meetings last night mentioned it. I think we've got a fairly exhausted Michigan team out here today. They should have percolated much better than that by this time in this season. They're backed up now, coming out from their own 1-yard line, and now you've got an offensive lineman who simply blows the snap count and comes across. Trezell Jenkins, half the distance might cost him 6 inches down there.
Well, all coaches have a game plan for coming out, Brent.
False start. Offense. Penalize half the distance to the goal. First down.
The first goal is to get the ball out so they can line up in a true spread punt formation. Then, of course, you're thinking first downs and getting on out of there. But first thing, get the ball out to the 6-yard line.
George Hill on the stats informs me it's 1st and 10.5. And now it's 2nd.
See, defensively, you can really take those inside gaps. It's hard to move them out of there, everybody pinching inside. Wheatley is the kind of back, if they give him the ball back there deep, that he can hit inside and bounce outside with that great speed.
Foster's number 33. Cooper, the tight end, leaves. It's noisy in this end zone. Wheatley to the 2-yard line. Styles again.
Lorenzo Styles loves this kind of defense, Brent.
John Saunders, what's going on in North Carolina?
Well, Brent, they have come back to tie the game, and a little trickery here. Mike Thomas hands off to Octavius Barnes coming around one end, and then he passes to Marcus Wall. The play covers 49 yards. He's wide open for the touchdown, and we're tied now, 7 apiece in that ACC contest. Brent.
Well, it figured to be a close game today. Duke, of course, lost to North Carolina State, missed 4 field goals a week ago, John. So they might still be a little deflated. We'll see how that unfolds.
That's a safety. It's a safety. Brent, normally when that happens, a center will drop 1 foot, and step on the quarterback's foot as he leaves and trips him. Sometimes it's a guard. More often than not, it's the offensive center. See, it was Rod Payne sliding to his right from behind. We'll take another look, concentrate on Rod Payne's. Here's the foot, I think, that gets him right there. See it come out right there? No, it's just the left foot got him right there.
Two nothing. And remember, the situation that set this up was the great punt by Turner, and then the mental mistake in not making the catch and allowing the ball to be downed inside the 5-yard line by Tito Paul. As a result, the Buckeyes score first. They lead it by that safety.
And they'll get the ball back in good field position. Normally, after a safety, you get the ball on the plus side of the 50. You get any kind of return team.
The punter, Baker.
They're using Galloway back there. He is their punt returner.
Springs and Galloway back deep.
That's an easy ball to return.
As the Springs out of bounds at the Michigan 40-yard line.
See, absolutely no hang time by that punt. It was a flat ball. It wasn't in the air very long. The coverage can't get under and cover that. And when you kick it to a gifted athlete like Sean Springs, you're in trouble.
Well, the Goodyear blimp is floating overhead, providing our beautiful aerial views for today's game. The Goodyear blimp, one of America's most enduring corporate images. The image down here right now is Buckeyes leaded by a safety. 3:25 left first quarter in the Big Horseshoe with the skyline of Columbus in the background. 40 yards away, the Bucks will play on a short field. George and Sualua are in the eye behind Hoyne. George gets the call. George to the 38-yard line.
They like to run the ball over there toward big Corey Stringer. Either it be directly behind him or a counter like that play. He is such a good offensive one-on-one blocker. All-American, 2-time will be an All-American again this year. 330 pounds. Here he is right in the middle of your screen here. Great big guy. Now he sets him up, takes him down underneath. That's Zinkowitz he's taken underneath. But penetration inside prevented a clean execution play.
Tony Henderson off the sideline defensively for the Wolverines.
tackles over, Brent. 2 big tackles side by side.
And they roll Hoyne in that direction. Throws incomplete. A one-hop, or they run it Galloway. Good coverage by Ty Law. He's the best cover man in that defensive backfield for the Wolverines, and it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Bucks.
You mentioned Ty Law. Last year he had 6 pass interceptions himself, only 1 this year. The entire defense only has 6 interceptions this year. That's their biggest drop-off, is in that pass defense phase. A lot of young guys, Brent, as you mentioned, 11 different people.
Aliquippa, PA, and they'll stay away from number 22. He hasn't had as many shots at intercepting the ball as he had a year ago.
They're moving the defense over now and get in front of those 2 big tackles.
The Bucks with a slot. Complete to number 17, Chris Sanders.
See, in this formation in weeks past, they've used it as a change-up formation, and they've basically run the football from it. Here we've seen the formation, and they're throwing the ball. Here's the slot formation outside the 2 big tackles. They read the zone. Sanders settles down in the zone and waits for the football. Gets it, but not enough for the first down.
Left him a yard shy, but the Bucks don't hesitate. John Cooper with perhaps his job on the line here today, knowing that he needs either a victory or a real good outing. Saddle up, and here they come. 4th and 1. Bet they don't throw a drop back pass.
They've got Pace and Stringer side by side. That's 650 pounds lined up over there, Brent. It's a wonder the field doesn't tilt that direction.
Hoyne calls timeout. Didn't like what he saw. You're going to go on 4th and 1. Best to jump the defense, isn't it? We'll be right back. Jumps for Monday night, but certainly the New York Giants can't keep losing, or can they? And Jeff Fisher will make his coaching debut for the Houston Oilers. The Oilers actually played a pretty good game last week against Cincinnati. Jeff Blake and the Bengals were just a little bit better. Lorenzo White, you'll see him at running back on Monday night. They'll go to power football and try to break through and win for the 2nd time. Here the Bucks need a little power football. It's 4th and 1.
And they'll run it right behind the big power. I'd be surprised if they don't.
They add the tight end. Here comes George. First down, 25-yard line.
Boy, and I'll tell you this, Bobby Hoying almost did not get the ball seated to the tailback. He was using a reverse pivot move and didn't get around quickly enough, and darn near didn't get him the ball. He reverses around. Now look at it, he barely gets it to him. He got it there, good blocking at the point of attack, gives it to a big, strong kid out of Philadelphia, Abington High School, Fort Union Prep School, and there he goes, first down. Here there's tackles over again. Now they have a pass going out the backside off this. We're going to see here pretty quick, Brent.
1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Bucks are on the move. Penalty flag is down. There is a penalty flag. So we'll get the call, and then we'll send it to John Saunders right after the officials call here. You can just take it on that.
Well, Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, was concerned about those tackles over, and he's going to move his defensive line over.
Corey won't hold in Orlando.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Virginia and Virginia Tech. The Hokies have turned the ball over a couple of times, and it's killing them. Tiki Barber here, 14 yards. They missed the 2-point conversion. You can see the Cavs here next Friday at 11 a.m., at least some of you, 12-0.
It's 2-0 Buckeyes lead with a safety. They're on the move here with a first down. All at the 36-yard line. Now they come over behind those 2 safeties. Complete to Galloway and out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
See, with those 2 big tackles over there, it gives you a real good blocking service. So you've got 650 pounds over there to block any kind of a rush, and it's an unbalanced line. Here they are. See, these are 2 big offensive linemen. That creates a nice wall for the quarterback to sprint out to. Big, big people. It gets the block by the George right there. Nice throwing lane, zone coverage. And Lloyd Carr says they're going to play a lot of zone today. They don't want to give up a big play against man-to-man coverage. Good defense. Excellent defense.
Steve Morrison, number 36.
Boy, he's a good football player. He's hard to fool. He's got a lot of experience, Brent. Counter action like that, they don't run back weak side very often. He does not take the bite. He fills over there to his right and makes the play. No wonder he leads them in tackles. 342 career tackles, number 8 in the history of Michigan linebackers and Michigan defensive football players. Good job there, Steve.
3rd down and 11 for the Bucks. Sualua, 1st down Bucks. Still battling to the 5.
They spread them out all the way across the field with 3 wide receivers. They go zone coverage, no man-to-man. You'll see them spread here to here, and they take the back and slip him down through the zone. They keep him here, keep him there, keep him here. Gets right outside. They don't normally throw to this back coming out of the backfield, and the linebacker took too wide of a drop that time. That was Jarrett Irons, took a 2 outside flat drop.
21-yard gain, and the 1st quarter comes to an end. So when we come back, the Bucks will have it 1st and goal. The ball will be at the Michigan 5-yard line.
Down there, the young defensive line by Michigan did a nice job that time of keeping their pads down and not getting knocked off the ball. Taking a look at the numbers of the 1st quarter, Ohio State moving ahead there in yardage, time of possession in favor of Michigan, mainly due to the turnover. The critical thing is here for Ohio State is when they turn it over, their defense rose to the occasion.
They are matching Ty Law one-on-one with Joey Galloway. He is going to either side of the formation with him for the Wolverines. Sualua moves out. Galloway, they try to run a pick. They throw Sualua out of bounds and incomplete. They slide off each other, sending Sualua in motion out on that side, and Steve Morrison going out there defensively.
He did a good job defensing him. He didn't see the ball, but he covered up the receiver so the quarterback couldn't really see him. He was right in line with him. Sualua going in motion now to the right side of your screen. Now that'll stretch the defense. That'll stretch the defense. Linebacker Morrison turning up. They got a force there by the outside linebacker Price, number 8. There's Morrison. See, he's right in line with that receiver, and you can't throw it like you'd like to throw it.
If they're ever going to go to Ricky Dudley at tight end, he's lined up on the left. Maybe now it'll be Galloway. They fake the toss, and Hoynes going to roll for the touchdown. Buckeyes!
Normally when they bring Galloway in motion like that in a 2 tight end situation, they toss him the ball and run the sweep. This time they fake the toss. He does a real nice job of extending the arms, Brent. Draws a crowd, gets pursuit. See the extension of the arms there. That draws the defense. Everyone going. Then he runs a little sneak to Dudley, decides to take it and run it in himself. And he became a running quarterback last week in the ball game against Indiana. Really ran the ball well.
Josh Jackson, the punter, Turner holding. And it's 9-0 Buckeyes. Bobby Hoyne runs one in. And the main storyline, can John Cooper finally beat Michigan? His first touchdown, the Bucs started it off with a safety. They lead it by 9, and now they'll be kicking off to the Wolverines, who must now rally. A year ago, they didn't give up a point to the Buckeyes in Ann Arbor. Malfat with the ball on the tee. There's Biaka Batuka. Number 21 has joined Seth Smith. There was another Smith who made headlines regarding this game earlier this week up in Ann Arbor when he popped off. We'll show you that tape. Here's Seth from the 5. Got a hole. Seth Smith to the 46-yard line with Sean Springs saving perhaps a touchdown. We mentioned Walter Smith. Here's what he had to say on why Michigan wanted to win down here in Columbus.
We want to get Cooper fired. That's what I want to do. You know, we want to keep on beating him until he's no longer there.
So I want to tell you, Columbus was up in arms. Not so much the players and the coaching staff. They pretty much calmly handled it. But the fans in Columbus, in fact, last night Walter Smith was burned in effigy. He did not make the travel squad. He's been injured, caught one pass. I believe it was against Minnesota. Wheatley goes out in motion now for the Wolverines. Todd Collins straight back over the middle, high, incomplete, intended for Mercury Hayes. And Jack Arute, I understand that Walter has shown up today.
Well, Brent, we found him. And Walter, after your comments on Monday, did you have to sneak into Columbus?
Yes, most definitely. I didn't want to do no harm to myself, but I wasn't scared of anything. It was a big rivalry. I was looking forward to coming here and support my staff.
Kind of surprised at how things have gone in the first quarter. It doesn't look like the Wolverines are really on track.
Yes, a little mental mistakes right now, but we'll turn back and do a good job later.
We'll talk to him in a couple of seconds, Brent. Here's the play.
All right, Jack. Biaka Batuka's in that backfield for the Wolverines, and here he is on a screen pass that's read beautifully. Tackle at the 40 by Styles, number 90, who's off to a whale of the game. And, hey, Jack, you got to tell Walter this is no way to get Coop fired.
Yeah, Walter, Brent Musburger says this is not the way to get John Cooper fired, but you've always been the emotional spark plug to this team. What have you been saying, prowling up and down on the bench here to your teammates?
I just tell them to keep their heads up and crowd are going to be into the game because there's a big rivalry and we're going to always overcome things that's not our way, and we're going to do a better job this game.
Brent?
All right, Jack, here it is. 3rd down and 14 after the loss of 4 yards. Collins throws underneath to Riemersma, his first reception, and Michigan forced a punt. Belisari defending the tight end.
They went to a man coverage underneath and backed him up with 2 free safeties. They couldn't get anybody clean, get him open, forced him to hold on to the football. Very good defense at times by the Buckeyes.
Dick, they came close to blocking a punt, the Buckeyes did. They may want to come down in here.
They're lined up as if they were going to.
And then they drop back. They try to hurry the punter. Galloway will field this one at the 15-yard line. Galloway to the 29-yard line. 28, 12:34 to go first half. 9-0. Buckeyes with the lead.
Being ranked best model in his price class in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates puts the Geo Prism on something of a pedestal. But being priced starting at $12,050 puts Prism very much within reach. Get to know the car ranked best in its class in initial quality. Geo Prism at your Chevrolet Geo dealer.
I'm going camping this weekend, and I love it. And I hate camping. If I want to sleep on dirt, I wouldn't vacuum. Fresh air, birds, trees, snakes, bears, poison ivy.
It's funny how 2 people can look at the same thing differently.
You stand in the clean, clear water and catch your own dinner. Well, you stand in the freezing cold water and catch pneumonia.
To some, this is a great tasting imported beer. And to others, it's a great tasting light beer. Either way, it's Amstel Light.
It's beautiful. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. It stinks. You're out there in the middle of nowhere.
The Geo Prism has a beautiful interior and comes with standard dual airbags, crush zones, reinforced door pillars, and a rugged steel safety cage, which helps explain why the interior still looks this beautiful, even when it's in this car. Call 1-800-GET-TO-KNOW and get to know the new Geo Prism.
Thanksgiving weekend, a lot of college football coming your way. On Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, big one down to the southwest. Texas and Baylor coming your way live, and that's just the beginning. North Carolina State, Virginia, Texas Tech, TCU. That's on Friday with our regional coverage to start it off. Then all of you will see number 1 Nebraska against Oklahoma from Norman. And out west, that will be your first game, and then you will have Arizona State, Arizona as your second one. So that's our Thursday, Friday lineup coming your way on ABC. Here the Buckeyes lead the Wolverines 9-0 second quarter. Bobby Hoyne, who ran for the game's only touchdown with a new running back. Pepe Pearson, the freshman from Euclid, Ohio, into the backfield. Lined up very deep behind the quarterback. On a fake, Hoyne's going to throw. Incomplete. It was intended for a tight end who had slipped off, and that was DJ Jones.
Good pressure by Glenn Steele, a fourth defensive lineman. Now, Coach Carr, the defensive coordinator, said they will play more four-down defensive linemen, specifically so they can get Glenn Steele in the ballgame. A fine young converted tight end now playing defensive lineman and getting better every week. Makes a nice play.
Eddie George returns to the Bucks backfield. 2nd and 10. Slot is off to the left with Sanders, the track man, and Galloway out far to the left. Ty Law has been going with Galloway. Hoyne rolls in that direction. Saunders, and crushed by Law. They drop back into that zone coverage. And John Saunders, what you got?
Well, Brent, last time we checked in, we told you Virginia led 12-0, but back come the Hokies, 3rd and 2 at the 19. Maurice DeShazo, 21st touchdown reception by Antonio Freeman. That is a new career record at Virginia Tech. 13-12. Brent.
All right, John, so that one looks like it's going to be close. And here the Bucks are up by 9. They came in a very slight underdog. 1st and 10 for the Bucks. The ball is at the 43.
They're going to blitz, Brent.
Here they come. He hits a hot receiver at the 49-yard line. Picks up about 5 yards. It's Buster Tillman.
See, what they did that time is they brought the short corner who was rolled up and brought him in and blitzed him, and they have a side adjustment. You don't have to audible. They just have a move between the quarterback and the wide receiver when they see that happen, and they executed it perfectly that time. Lloyd Carr making his defensive calls. Fine defensive football, coach. Tackles over again.
To the right side where they put the slot receiver, Saunders, along with Galloway. Hoyne has been rolling in that direction. Now they'll send George, and George crosses the 50 to the 49. This will leave them about 3rd and 2. Matt Dyson there, and a late flag.
Little fisticuffs going on down there between safety Clarence Thompson and Chris Sanders. That big jumbo package really puts pressure on the defense. It also isolates a little bit where you can go with the football, too. You don't have a total package offensive standpoint when you're in that kind of formation. That's it, Coach. Get upset with them. Here's this big jumbo package again. See, that's 650 pounds over there. They come off the ball double. Now they get the kick out. Running back quits on the play. Should have gone on outside with that one. He was a little impatient.
Well, he had reason to be. The tight end couldn't pick up Dyson. The tackles had done their job, and Dyson, who really makes a difference to this Wolverine defense, he came off his block beautifully, Dick, to bring down the running back.
You know, you're getting better at this stuff. You know that, Musburger?
Well, you're teaching me, man. It's 1st and 10.
Yeah,
ball
you're
inside the 35-yard line. George again to the 30-yard line, and Jared Irons.
Real nice lead block by the fullback. Point of attack block by LaShawn Daniels, the offensive right guard. Boy, there was good contact. You could hear that all the way. First off, we get a real fine block by the offensive right guard in a one-on-one situation. Then we get a good lead block on the linebacker by Nicky Sualua. Wham, nice contact. And the linebacker got his pads down, too. That's tough contact.
2nd and 6, a very costly penalty here at 10:26. Bucks up by 9. George swings left. Now he gets to the 25-yard line. This will leave them with about a 3rd and 1.
Ron Hudson, who coaches the pass offense for Ohio State, said he really wanted to make sure they balance their run game, pass game, and not get locked into just running, because if they do, they know that Michigan will blitz those running situations. So they've got to throw the ball a little bit more, I think, on those run downs.
Ohio Stadium. John Cooper trying to beat Michigan for the first time. He has one tie in his coaching tenure here. 3rd and 1. Toss to George. Not going to get it. It is 4th down and about 4 yards to go with Jared Irons picking up the job defensively for the Wolverines.
That junior linebacker has made a number of good plays this year. The son of Gerald Irons, who played for the Raiders for a number of years. Good play. You know, I sort of question tossing the ball outside when you're not a real big outside running team anyway. You've got power, big offensive tackles. Why not run right up their butts? You know, right behind them. Boy, it's easy to make those calls up here, Brent.
Easy to understand the coach, isn't it? Guess we know what he means.
He wanted to go for it on 4th down, I guess. That's
They're going to go again on 4th and 5. Ball inside the 30-yard line. This coaching staff not even hesitating and looking for the field goals here today. They got it. First down with Thompson trying to jar the ball loose, and Galloway would have none of it. First down, Buckeyes.
Very good call by Ron Hudson, the quarterback pass offense coach. That's designed specifically for man-to-man. You get scraping right inside like that, but I'll tell you, Thompson really hit him. Most receivers would drop that football. Good pass protection. Good. See, he has time to sit, allow that crossing pattern to develop. He threw it out there where he could tuck it away, and wham! Boy, what a nice hit by Thompson.
Now the 2 big tackles, jumbo formation to the left. Sualua offset in that direction. Jones now gives him all kinds of muscle to the left. George looking for daylight. Slants up, he's got it. Dick, they cannot stop this formation. It's jumbo, and Sualua is also coming to block with those 2 big tackles.
You called it, Brent, the 2 big tackles there, but Sualua was the guy that really made it go. You get the nice blocks right here, and the tight end going in motion, but Sualua now comes from the left side of your screen. He gets those pads down, number 37, keeps his feet moving, opens up that hole. They take advantage of Stringer's block, number 78.
Now the 2 big tackles are off to the right. Stringer and Pace are their names. Behind them. First down inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Buckeyes.
They have a very nice pass off that formation back to the short side, which is really tough to defense when you're stopping. You know, they're moving the ball over to behind those big tackles like that, and the linebackers and everybody come flying with action.
You'd be awfully tempted to say we've got 4 downs to run it in behind those 2 big fellas.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Will. But I'll tell you this, Michigan's defense against the run has been pretty good. They're 3rd in the Big Ten.
Springer and Pace are off to the right side. Pace is like a vicious blocking tight end in this formation. They cut inside it, and they make their way to the 7-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. Eddie George out of Philadelphia. His mother is a flight attendant for TWA. She's a single parent, and she has adjusted her schedule throughout his career to make sure that she's able to watch every one of his games. She picks up flights early in the week, and then she's able to get into Columbus or wherever Eddie is playing, and it's just one of those nice stories. She feels you should be here, and now Pepe Pearson will pick him up. 2nd down for the Bucks going in.
With this set, they have been running inside with this formation with the fullback set like that, Brent.
It's the 2 tackles on the left. Pepe with his speed. Great defense that time by Irons.
He can really pursue inside out, and plus he took the correct course. He stayed behind the ball carrier, did not allow him to cut back, and gets his head across the bow front of those numbers. Really a nice job of line backing. Right in the middle of your screen, number 37 will be coming. He keeps moving, there he is. Now see him get across there. Good line backing.
3 wide receivers check in. Galloway is joined by Sanders and Tillman. They will slot Galloway, making him real dangerous down here on the right side. And timeout. That's the 2nd one used by the Buckeyes. And Hoyne with 6:33 to go. Didn't like what he saw. We'll take a break. The Bucks lead it 9-0 over the Wolverines. State has wrapped up the Big Ten championship and going to Pasadena, but still they trail Northwestern right now, 7-0. Dennis Lundy suspended by the Wildcats for this game, but folks, that one is early.
You know, you mentioned Penn State. If they weren't in the conference, we'd be watching a ball game right now to determine who goes to the Rose Bowl.
Exactly. Only the second year, and Penn State has made a huge difference, haven't they?
You bet.
Now it is 3rd and goal, the 3 wide receivers, and they'll move them all to the right side of this formation. Coyne looking back. Galloway incomplete. He overlet him. Galloway had broken free.
That man-to-man coverage had everybody flowing with the quarterback in that sprint out action. Boy, that's tough on the defense, too. It just missed the throw. John Cooper takes a deep breath on that one. He's throwing it back to the top of your screen, just out of reach. And if anyone had the ability to burst to get it, this young man, here again to the left side of your screen, throwing back, he is all alone. More often than not, in that kind of situation, when he's all alone, the defender gets caught in the wash, runs into somebody else.
Josh Jackson makes the short field goal. Jackson puts the Bucks up by 12 points with 6:22 to go in the first half. And now the Wolverines will try to create something of a positive situation here. In case you joined us late, they took the opening kickoff. They won the toss. They did not defer. And the Wolverines moved on down to a 4th and about a half yard. And instead of running after a timeout, they threw a simple drop back pass, incomplete. And the defensive coordinator has been livid about something the officials didn't do down there, and he's still screaming at him from the far side. Carr is like raging over there.
He doesn't normally get that way either. I think it's because he knows that the offensive people picked off the defender, and that's why Galloway was all alone. Give it to him, Coach.
One time, call that illegal pick for me. You've seen it? Or something to that effect. Yakubatuka and Seth Smith are back there.
Both of these guys explosives. Seth Smith had a 100-yard touchdown return this year.
Short kickoff from the 14-yard line. Surrounded and down at the 25-yard line. Plenty of time for the Wolverines. They trail by 12 points. And a reminder, this is just the first game of our doubleheader, so a lot more coming your way. Stakes are very high. Auburn, Alabama, like Michigan, Ohio State, always a bitter, bitter game. Illinois, Wisconsin here in the Midwest. USC, UCLA, Oregon, Oregon State. Those two to decide the Rose Bowl. Remember, if Oregon wins, they're in. Or if UCLA picks off USC, then Oregon also is in. They got 2 rolls of the dice. They don't want to leave it up to the Bruins. They want to do it themselves. Tyrone Wheatley back in the ball game now. Remersma, the tight end. And there's a penalty flag. I think you saw the movement. Let's go back and see, Dick, what Carr was upset about. Let's see if this isn't a pick down here by these receivers.
To the left side of your screen, he's moving in, and you'll see it right here. See, he runs right into the other receiver, who actually is, by design, is trying to do that. He's trying to get him picked off like that. That's how he ends up wide open.
Deion Johnson, how could you miss that one? I mean, usually it's more subtle, folks. The way they work that play is you kind of flash in front of the guy, and you got him hesitating. That time, he just creamed him right down here at the goal line. No wonder Coach was upset. Had a reason to be. Might have cost him 3 points. Who knows? 1st and 5 after the penalty against the Bucks. Fake to Wheatley. Todd Collins going deep down the middle. Toomer's got it for the Wolverines. First down at the 10-yard line. Kerner saves the touchdown, but the gain is for 59 yards.
Those patterns take an awful long time. They use the kind of action in faking the run that gives a receiver time to get down there. He'll make a strong fake. Tight end going in motion. Remus to the left. Now he makes a strong fake. He comes out naked, no protection out there. Sets up there, no real pressure until very late. Deep, deep crossing pattern behind the other defenders pulled up. Well-executed play.
Foster and Wheatley are the running backs. Toomer to the sideline after the huge gain. The Wolverines are at the Buckeye 11, and it's noisy at that end of the field. It's Wheatley on a cutback. Wheatley to the 5. John Saunders, how about the Nittany Lions against Northwestern? What's going on with that one?
Tough task for your old school, Brent, going into Happy Valley, but Northwestern has the ball and they're driving at the 19. Chad Lilly, though, coughs it up. Kim Herring picks it up. 80 yards on the run for the touchdown, beating the last man there and then just following the blocks in. 7-0. The Nittany Lions on top of the Wildcats. Brent, take it back to you.
Didn't we just see a graphic that had Northwestern ahead in that game? I got to check on that. Hi, I got to call timeout. I've got to find out. How can you mislead me like that? What's happening here? 4:39 to go.
Now, you have a big offensive line like Griselle Jenkins at 298, Runyon at 293, Payne at 285, Marinero at 294, and Thomas Gwines at 299. No sense in complicating trying to find that end zone. Let those guys put some weight on their hand, come off that ball, knock some people, or at least hold your own. You're giving it to a gifted running back and let him pick his place to run. Big thing is don't allow penetration down there. Ohio State's been pretty good in the red zone there. I don't think they've been as good as they have been in the past, but they've been down there. Opponents have 26 times, and they've given up 16 touchdowns and 6 field goals. You'd like to force them to more field goals down there than given in that ratio.
I'm told that was a mistake earlier.
Yeah.
That computer, they'll do it every time.
Oh, those computers.
Those computers, they're crying out loud.
Everybody else uses the computer breakdown as a problem.
So the Nittany Lions are ahead of the Wildcats, who had not scored earlier. And it is 7-0, and John Saunders just showed you the touchdown. Second down and 5. Bianca Batuka is the running back. He's a tough, slashing runner for the Wolverines. If he gets a chance, he'll battle you. Here he comes. Picking his way. He didn't get his chance to get loose that time.
You know, I don't know what he saw, but it looked like he gave up on the design of the play just a little bit too soon. Maybe he saw something. The great running backs see things that people up here in the booth can't see. And this guy is a very good runner inside that red zone. We've seen him make some real nice runs. And as we said, Ohio State has done a pretty good job in the red zone defensively, but they've given up percentage-wise too many touchdowns down here. Should force more field goals. You'd be happier as a defensive coordinator.
3rd and 4, and Shea Foster, the running back, behind Collins. Michigan will throw for it. Incomplete.
Good coverage that time by Sean Springs. Boy, he was right in line with the quarterback and the receiver. The only way you could complete that is up over the top of the defender and drop it over the far shoulder of the receiver, and he just couldn't make that throw.
A superb defensive stand by the Buckeyes down here. They have forced Michigan to set up for the field goal. Remy Hamilton will attempt the 22-yarder if they go through with the kick. Remersma the holder. And Michigan on the board at the 3:52 mark. And while we have an opportunity, let's check in on some other shows coming up on ABC. The Buckeyes, they'll kick it away from him. Springs from the 5, swinging to the left. Still only 1 for a touchdown. Out of bounds at the 25.
Hard to run a wide sideline return when the ball's kicked all the way over on outside the other hash mark, Brent.
Well, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company has dispatched its blimp, the Spirit of Akron, to give us a unique view of today's game. Some fans of these two schools in Akron, Ohio, let me tell you that. 3:45 to go. Can you believe this weather? Mid-November, Michigan, Ohio State. Remember Vic Janowitz? Oh, in a snowstorm game. Chuck Ortman punting for Michigan. Coyne is hit on the release. Dangerous, could have been picked off. Dyson was over there on that side of the field. Jason Horn had wrapped up the quarterback.
Again, 4 defensive linemen in there rather than 3, so you got 4 people coming on every snap. Very, very dangerous throw. He has enough experience now not to make this kind of throw. They've had so much success with this kind of action, Brent, that sometimes you develop blind confidence as a quarterback in the execution of a play.
3.5 minutes left here, Dick, in the first half. 2nd down and 10 for the Bucks. Coyne on the roll to the right, is going to keep it. Coyne slides to the 30-yard line. That's short of the first down. They'll need about 4 yards.
You know, Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, said last night that prior to last week's game, in evaluating Hoying as a quarterback, he was not concerned about his running ability. But last week, he really flashed and ran upfield, ran between people, used some, you know, shake and break moves getting upfield, and it really concerned him. Now, he wasn't going to have anybody spy on him, but everybody is now much more mentally aware of his running ability on that defensive team.
Backs a split. Coyne to throw. Pressured by Horn again, but he's off for the first down.
Jason Horn in there quickly. Real good move by Bobby Hoying. See, they walk a linebacker up and try to draw an offensive lineman's block, and then he drops out and the defensive rushman rushes. A little tough for an inexperienced offensive lineman. They were doing it over there on young Orlando Pace, a true freshman.
At the conclusion of the game, we'll select a genuine Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and for the 24th year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of both Michigan and Ohio State. 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes with 2:44 to go in the first half. We've got a 12-3 count. Ohio State leading Michigan. The 30-yard line, Glenn Steele.
That's a protection breakdown, and that's what happens sometimes when you get in these really different offensive formations. Your pass protection scheme isn't as sound as your other formation schemes. He comes from the bottom of your screen. See, they're not coming out to pick him up. He's all alone. He should be able to get after him, and he does. See, that's a mental breakdown. The protection did not slide backside, Brent.
7-yard loss. It's 2nd and 17. At the 31, his receivers were covered, and it was Matt Dyson. And now you get the feeling that the Michigan defense has adjusted just a little bit and is playing a little bit better here.
What they did that time, Brent, they went to a change-up zone coverage. He didn't get to throw where he wanted to throw the ball. He sees a running lane. You see the big lane right here. But he's just a little bit late because he's looking downfield to throw the football. If he'd have started a second sooner, he'd have been through there.
Timeout is called, and that is the last one for Michigan. The Buckeyes have one left. And Jack Arute, what's going on?
Well, Brent, there are so many traditions in college football, and so many of them that apply to this game, this contest. One of them is the tradition of the golden pants. I know, that's right. What it is a little charm. These are little golden football pants. They're awarded to every Ohio State Buckeye player that plays in a winning contest against the University of Michigan. The only problem is, over on this sideline, every single one of the players in the squad right now don't have a set of these. And they've been lusting for them throughout their college career. Going into halftime, some of them, I'm sure, will be thinking about these golden pants.
Yeah, Jack, the seniors, in fact, have been talking.
Jack
about
wears
that
gold
fact.
pants himself, doesn't he?
Boy, Dick, you are tough today.
I just want to make sure you say what you mean.
That's right.
12-3 is our score. Ohio State over Michigan. 1:41 left here in the first half. This will be a 3rd and 16 for the Buckeyes.
Be very smart to play this very conservatively, Brent.
And that senior class has never beaten Michigan.
See, they show it 2 deep, and then they move out and go a 3 deep.
George running to the 44-yard line. Check that. That was Sualua who got the call that time.
Stop by Steve Morrison.
Steve Morrison with the stop for the Wolverines.
See, they go loose zone right now. Irons is up there, 37, faking the blitz. He backs out now. He moves over to try to get involved in that draw play, coming from the left to the right. Doesn't grit there.
So Scott Turner to punt. Amani Toomer back deep for Michigan. 1:02. The Wolverines will get this ball inside of a minute without a timeout left and trailing the Buckeyes 12-3. Whistles all over, and they exhausted a little bit too much time, didn't they, in bringing that clock down inside of a minute. Would you go after this punt?
Yes, definitely, Brent. You have nothing to lose from a defensive
Dead ball.
return.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. The clock will start on the snap.
Amani Toomer has returned 1 for 72 yards per touchdown versus Illinois. It was a big, big play.
Well, a 5-yard penalty would not give Ohio State a first down. You might as well take a crack. They didn't get there, and so it'll be up to Toomer. A bouncing ball which will roll down inside the 5-yard line. Well, coming up, John Saunders with scores and highlights. Keith Jackson will tell us about the upcoming Alabama-Auburn game down south. Frank Sanders, one of the better wide receivers, plays for that Auburn team. Some of you folks will be watching that one a little bit later today. 42 seconds left now and no timeouts. You've got yourself 98 yards. You don't want to make a mistake. You might as well. What do you think, Coach? What would you do here?
They'll use your draw game and that kind of thing, Brent. This is run formation.
Bianca Batuka to the 5.
He's been banged up a little bit, but he's healthier today than he's been for a few weeks. And he is going to be a fine heir apparent to that tailback position, replacing Tyrone Wheatley. Really a good player.
Well, the Buckeyes exhaust their supply of timeouts here in the first half. John Cooper takes a lead into the locker room here at halftime, regardless of what happens. The final 26 seconds, and the big question about him and his coaching future. Can he hang on here?
I kind of believe he will. You know, when you and I both visited with him, he says, you know, I've got another year on my contract. You never know.
They're going to be real tough if he doesn't beat Michigan today.
Especially with a lead at halftime. You know, Michigan was down at halftime last week and came back and really played well in the second half. I mean, it was all, when you study them on tape, it was almost like a different group of guys playing football.
Great setting here in Columbus. Some dormitory rooms here in this classic old stadium. See, there was a big story in the Columbus Dispatch on the front page today. They're going to take the old penitentiary that many of you are familiar here, and they're thinking about making it a soccer stadium. Coming in here with a big professional soccer team, that'd be kind of interesting. That would be the big house. That's going to do it. First half comes to the end here with John Cooper. And the Buckeyes Look at that. John's even got time. Look at that for a little radio interview. Now that's a relaxed coach. There he is going off the sideline.
That's his former quarterback interviewing him, Herb Street.
Is that inside information?
Yeah.
Gets the very latest from the coach. John Saunders and the Prudential halftime report coming up. He's not so happy. No interviews with Coach Moeller.
Brent, no surprise, the score is 12-3, Ohio State with the lead. Coming up, scores and highlights. We'll hear from Keith Jackson in Birmingham and look at the
Where I, William A. Kelly, Mayor of the City of Waverly, do hereby confer honorary lifetime citizenship to Brent Musburger and Dick Vermeil. They're honorary members of this city for a lifetime.
All right.
First time I ever got the key to any city. We thank the lovely folks away. By the way, the mayor said you could have a lifetime contract as coach of the high school football team. You want to go back? Now's your chance. They want you. How about our second half here? I don't think it's over yet.
Oh, no. Michigan has been a very good second half football team, especially in the third quarter. And last week, it was different. It's a night and day from the first half to the second half. I look for them to come back and do a much better job of the use of their offense and quit screwing around.
Yeah, they got to do that.
I know they have. That's what they've been doing.
You didn't like that 4th and 1 on that first drive.
That got me pretty good. I got some other people covered pretty good, too.
Okay, let's take a look now at some of the statistics that we have here at the end of the first half. Here is the safety. We'll start with the 2 points.
No one had to tackle him on that one. See, the other thing they've not been doing a good job from a Michigan standpoint, Brent, is fielding punts, and that's allowed that poor field position. But you see the stats are not dominated by either team. Time of possession a little bit in favor of Ohio State. Ohio State -1 in turnover, but the defense did a real good job. I think glaring here is Michigan is not running the ball like they're capable of running the football.
Now we go to Jack Arute.
Well, Brent, let's give you another statistic. Back in 1990, John Cooper and the Ohio State Buckeyes went into the locker room at halftime, and they were leading 10-6. Now, Cooper is 0-5-1, as we've said. They came out and they lost the game by 16-13. But when they were in the locker room this time, it was the defensive coaches that came into the offensive team meetings and got very emotional with the players. Tried to remind them about how important this game was. In fact, one of the players told me as he came out, it almost wanted me to break out in tears. The OSU Buckeyes are sky high getting ready for the second half. Meanwhile, the Michigan Wolverines, well, they're going about their business like work. They don't feel they played that badly in the first half. They're going to keep things just the way they've been. Brent?
The second half kickoff by the Wolverines. The Bucks will receive it from the 5 with Springs. Springs down the right side, trying to cut back, and nailed from behind at the 35-yard line. Chris Floyd, promising youngster on that Michigan team, came out of nowhere to make the stop there on that special. Jack Arute, Dick, he probably thought that this enormous crowd was cheering and screaming for him a moment ago. What we had was a streaker who ran to midfield and gave us the famous Heisman pose right there at the 30-yard line. And you know, you folks will understand why we could not let you see that video. But Jack, we want you to know that it was not for you, big fella. Okay. 1st and 10 now for the Bucks, coming out from the 34-yard line. 12-3, Buckeyes with a lead over the Wolverines. Showing blitz, here they come. Bobby Hoyne hit in the middle defensively by Trent Zinkowitz.
They brought the strong safety. That gives them the extra rusher. They go man-to-man downfield. Coverage was good. No place to go with the ball. He didn't want to throw the interception. Zinkowitz, who is a very intense young defensive lineman, he just keeps coming. See, he has to hold the football here, and here comes the old Zinker right there. Zacks him.
A beautiful Saturday afternoon in Columbus, Ohio. 12-3, the Buckeyes trying to beat Michigan for the first time under Coach John Cooper.
They're in a nickel defense right now, 5 defensive backs.
Tight end in motion. George sprinting in that direction. They stretch him out, and he's down at the 30-yard line. There's a penalty flag thrown by one of the linesmen.
Ohio State has not been a good outside running team. They're a tackle-to-tackle running team. And the defense, Michigan is doing a good job of just pushing them to the sideline. They faked the reverse on that, Brent. They probably have something coming in the game plan later on off that play.
The preliminary indication was a holding call against the Buckeyes here. Morrison, the hard-working inside linebacker, who is the captain.
Second and real long. You might just go ahead and refuse that penalty. Put him into third and very long. Don't give him another down.
Offense. Penalties decline.
Yeah.
Third down.
Now there's your offensive leaders from the first half of the game. George, 41 yards rushing. Sualua with 14. Sanders caught 3 passes to Galloway's 2. Sanders is frequently overlooked. He brings a lot of speed into the formation. They'd love to get the ball in his hands here on 3rd and 13. They have a slot formation with Sanders there to the right of Hoyne. They roll in that direction. And he's got him. That's a first. No, hold on, it is not. They're out at the 40. That's going to leave them about 4 yards shy and force a punt.
What they did with that play is just get it so now they can punt him and pin him back in their own territory. But Amani Toomer has got to start fielding the punts and not allow them the ball to bounce. They've lost a lot of yards. They've been losing 20 yards in the exchange of punts, Brent. Too many yards.
Turner. Toomer. And here comes the snap right at you.
Good snap.
Toomer fields this one at the 22, slips a tackle, and he's out to the 30. That's a lot different for the Michigan offense to be out at the 30 than buried down inside their 5-yard line.
See, and that allows you to go ahead and get into your game plan too, Brent.